Welcome back to another Footy Made Easy episode. Now this episode is all about passing. We're going to go over why being a good passer is important for all players regardless of your position, the 3 things you must do to have the proper passing technique, and for your passing technique, I'm going to give you a tip that's often overlooked but is extremely important. And then I'm going to give you 3 simple drills you can do by yourself to quickly improve your passing ability. As always, we've put the timestamps below so you can jump to whatever part of the video is best for you. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. Passing is one of the most important skills in football. It doesn't matter what position you play. Every player needs to be able to effectively complete passes to their teammates. Why? Well, one of the most important things all footballers need to remember is that the ball will always move faster than any player. So when you want to move your team across the pitch, passing will always be a faster option than dribbling. Here are 3 reasons why you must develop your passing ability to take advantage of this key insight and to take your game to the next level. On the offensive end, if you can spot and execute a good pass, you will be able to help your team create scoring opportunities faster than the opposing team will be able to defend against them. This could be by playing a defense-splitting pass that sends a teammate through on goal, by putting in an accurate cross that picks out a teammate in the box, or by combining passes with your teammates that open up the opposition's defense. Now, let's look at this from more of a defensive perspective. When you win the ball back from the opposing team in your defensive third, whether you're a midfielder, defender, or even a goalkeeper, effective passing is incredibly important to retain possession of the ball and transition from defense to offense. Defensive players, including goalkeepers, must be able to make accurate passes that opposing players are not able to intercept. If defensive players struggle with their passing, it will be hard to keep possession of the ball, to work the ball up the field, and you could even end up giving up goals in the process. And finally, it's important to remember that football is a team sport. We've probably all played with at least one person that never wanted to pass the ball, and it was extremely frustrating, wasn't it? We all have to learn how to pick our spots, when to dribble, when to shoot, and when to pass. So let's make sure we're sharing the ball with our teammates, and this way everybody's happy. Now that we know why we need to be able to pass the ball well, let's talk about the 3 things you need to have good passing technique. First, you want to keep your ankle locked. You do not want your foot to be moving around when you're passing the ball. Why is this? Because when your ankle is locked, you will then be able to generate good power on your pass so that it reaches its intended target. Second, and this is very important, keep the knee of your passing leg directly over the ball and your plant foot of your standing leg a couple of inches away from the ball. If your knee and plant foot are too far away from the ball, you won't be able to generate the power and accuracy that you want with your pass. Similarly, if your knee and plant foot are too close to the ball, the power and accuracy of your pass will suffer as well. And finally, you want your hips and shoulders facing your target. Generally, where your hips and shoulders are facing is where the pass will go. So there you have the basic technique needed to pass the ball well. Now let's jump into some drills to develop this skill. So first, you don't need cones for any of the drills that I'm showing you. In fact, you should start off not using cones or markers of any kind in order to practice the technique we just went over. So this drill is basically 2-touch passing, either against a wall or with a partner. Make sure you're not rushing through this drill. Take your time and focus on your technique. Once you're comfortable with your passing technique, you can add in a couple of sets of cones. The way I like to do this is to add a first set of cones about 5 to 7 steps from the wall and about 3 to 5 steps from each other, and then add a second set of cones about 10 to 12 steps from the wall and about 3 to 5 steps from each other. If the ball is hitting the cones, you need to ask yourself if your hips and shoulders are facing the target and if your knee and your plant foot are in the right positions. Now, the purpose of this drill is to get used to passing the ball while dribbling forward. Unless you are taking some type of free kick, you generally will not be standing still while passing the ball. So this drill puts you in a bit more realistic game situation. All you're doing here is taking a couple of touches with the ball and then passing it. Again, no cones or markers are necessary if you are a beginner. The main point is to keep your passing technique while dribbling. What I want you to focus on in this drill is not reaching for the ball when you are about to make your pass. If you are reaching for the ball, then your knee is likely not over the ball and your plant foot is not next to the ball, meaning you will lose power and accuracy on your pass. Another thing I really like about this drill is that it tests your first touch while you're moving. Now, I'm not going to go over first touch here, but I have another video all about your first touch and how important it is, and I will put the link in the description below. This drill is all about making sure your hips and shoulders face your target before you pass the ball. If you are using cones, keep the same setup as the last drill and add an identical channel of cones 6 to 8 steps away from the previous one. You will pass and receive the ball in one channel, then turn and dribble to the next one and pass and receive the ball there. What you really want to focus on here is that last touch you take before you pass the ball. That last touch has to set you up so that your hips and shoulders are facing your intended target. You do not want to have your hips and shoulders facing one way while you are passing in a different direction. That is one of the easiest ways that players lose accuracy and power on their passes. Again, really make sure you are not rushing through the drill. For instance, it's perfectly fine if you need more than one touch to set your hips and your shoulders correctly before making the pass. We want to make sure our technique is consistent before we increase speed. And there you have it. Those are 3 simple drills anybody can do to develop their passing ability. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos about how we can improve our game together. This is Footy Made Easy. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.